Hello everybody, welcome back to part 8 of the Revell Corvette build. It seems ages since I've been doing any modelling in the barn. I've been away for 10 days, but it's back to it now, and I'm just trying to remind myself where we'd got to with the Corvette. In this part, I want to get the bridge sorted out. In the last video, in part 7, you might remember if you've seen that I ran into some trouble with the shields on the top of the bridge. And I just couldn't get them to fit properly, so I left them off after the last part, and I've got to come back today and get that problem sorted out. So I think I've got to the bottom of what the problem was with the fit of these shields. I think it relates to another part that we need to fit before we actually come to place the shields in position. But we'll have a look at that back over the bench where we can get a bit closer into the model. Then hopefully, if that all goes well, we can do a little bit more of the detailing on the bridge itself, get some of the bridge equipment in. Then we can put that assembly to one side and move on with some other parts of the build, hopefully. So I think we've got a plan there, and we'll get over to the bench and we better get started, see if we can sort these shields out. Okay, so just remind ourselves where we got to. Seems a long time ago now. But these are the shields that I made up in part 7, and if we look underneath you can see the sort of gap that we've got around the outside. So they're pretty wide. And the part that I thought would help us, which is this strip here, which goes around the front of the bridge, it'll sort out the fit issues that we've got on this inner shield, but you can see it doesn't extend to the outside of the bridge. So I'm going to have to put a piece of styrene strip along the side to fill that gap, and it's going to need that because you can see that the ribs on the inside of the shield interfere with the base for the oerlikons here. So I'm going to have to extend the bridge outwards slightly so that all that fits together neatly. So I think that's the first job I'll do, just to add this styrene, extend the bridge to the sides, and then I can check this again just to see if we can get any closer with the fit. Okay, so I'm just going to be using some of this strip. This is 0.5 millimeter thick and 1 millimeter deep, so it's just enough to increase the width of this bridge deck by 0.5 millimeter, and that's just enough to accommodate the excess width that we've got on the shields. So I'll attach those two strips now. I've cut them a little bit over size, and I'll attach them with some of the Tamiya extra thin. This is the quick setting variety. We're going to have to touch this in again. Obviously this styrene strip, although it's white, it's far too stark a white. You can tell the difference there. So I'm just going to have to carefully go back in and paint that, but we'll get the fit right first before we do anything else. So I can just trim off the excess, sand it down smooth in a minute. So with that strip in, I'll just see if that's going to help us at all with the fit. I think it'll do the job. So the shield is now sitting properly on the superstructure here. So just thinking of the assembly sequence now, in order to fit this strip, this bulkhead part's going to obviously have to be in place. So to fit that in place, I'm going to have to finish the painting of the inside. I don't want to be having to mask all this up. So the first job is to paint the inside of this assembly here, and these screens at the back behind the shields. But I'll paint the whole of the front of the structure, including the shields, the front of the shields, all together, just so that it all blends into one. So we'll get this assembly painted next. So I'm just looking at the fit of this strip that goes around the front of the bridge, and that's in the correct location here. It's in its groove on this bulkhead here. But you can see it's nowhere near touching the front of the Revell platform. So this is all turning out to be a bit of a trial really to get this Pontos brass to fit. And I think what I'm going to have to do is put some of this strip all the way around the platform to stand any chance of getting this to fit. So that's a bit of a nuisance, but I can't see what else I can do really. Otherwise that's not going to go together as I want it. See, there's a gap all the way around that part. It's only tight here on this left hand side. So I'm going to build the rest of the platform up and see if that makes any difference. So just build up around the edge of the platform with this extra styrene. This is actually quite a lot of extra work really. In the whole time that I built the hood with the Pontos set, I never had any difficulties like this with fit. So it's very strange. But I know that I've had a few comments after part 7 where people have had the same sort of problem around this bridge assembly and have suggested different workarounds for it. So that's getting there now. It's getting a little bit better. Still a few gaps at the front there on this section, so I'll fill those in as well. I'll just tidy up all the joins between these bits of styrene now. Smooth them out. I might need a bit of filler here and there on this as well, but we'll see if that's going to be needed. Okay, so we'll give this another test fit now. So that's definitely filled all the spaces. And there's plenty of room now for the shields to go on there, so I think that strip has probably done the job. And hopefully when it's painted up it's not going to look too obvious that that's what I've done. The other thing that's going to help me when I'm fitting these is that the front and sides of these shields have splinter pads over the top of them. Which will obviously help to hide the gaps if I've still got any left or joins. So hopefully when everything's glued together we shouldn't have too bad a fit at all and there shouldn't be any obvious gaps. So that's much better. We can get the shield on now without having any gaps along the bottom. So I'm much happier with that. So now in terms of sequence of assembling all this, I'm going to want to paint or do touch-ups on the brass part here that I'm fitting, and obviously I'm going to paint these strips that I've added, the two bright white at the moment, so they'll need finishing off in the same insignia white that I've done the rest of the superstructure. And I'll be painting along with this brass this front end of the bridge, or I'll be touching that in as well. I don't want to be masking at the back here though, so I'll paint all the inside of this bulkhead in its final colour, and that'll just give us a neat demarcation down onto the wooden deck. So I think that's the next step. We'll get the insignia white out and we'll start to do the painting that we need to do to get this in place. Okay, so I've just been and painted this inside bulkhead with the insignia white, and that's so that I can get a nice clean colour demarcation there without having to do any masking. I've also painted the after side of this bulkhead here, and that's so that when I come to fit the shield in that position, I'm not going to have to be getting the airbrush in and doing any awkward masking to get this bulkhead here painted. But the front edge, or the front face here, and the front of the shields and all the strip that I've added, I'll paint that all together so that we get a nice consistent paint finish with those parts. And when I'm doing the white, I've got to remember to prime everything in this Mr. Finishing Surface of black. The white has gone all the time that I've done all this painting, the white has gone over this Mr. Surface of black colour. And just to make sure that the paint finish is consistent, I'll do the same with all of these parts as well. So this will get a coat of black and then the white over the top of it. Okay, so I've touched in all the strip that I've added, and that's just blended it in nicely with the rest of the paintwork. And it's obviously given us the extension in width and the pieces at the front as well. So the shields should go on now a little bit better anyway. So the first thing I want to do, having painted this section, is to fit it onto the bridge. So I'll apply some glue onto the bottom here. Just make sure I get a nice fixing of this part. And then we have this strip, which we've seen before, goes along the front edge of this bridge assembly. And that's the next part for me to fit. Unpainted at the moment, because obviously I'm going to get some glue on this and it's going to be difficult to avoid having the glue showing, so I'll want to do some touch-ups on this part. So there's no point painting it really. I'm not actually going to glue it here along this front edge. It'll be just enough to fix it along the styrene strip that I fitted earlier on. And hopefully that'll be enough to hold it in position. I think I'll try and just get a bit of extra thin just along that front join, and it'll really bond that little strip. And extra thin, as long as you don't put too much on. It's pretty invisible when it dries. And we won't see that at all once the strip is painted along with the front of the shields. Okay, so I think that's gone in alright. The plastic strip that I fitted earlier on has just given a bit of extra support and it's filled some of the gaps in there. So I think once that's painted it'll work. The test will be, of course, whether or not the shields fit. With these, I've painted these up already, or partly. These are the inner shields. I've not done the outside yet, so I'll do that with the rest of the assembly. So they're fitting all right now. Got rid of the gaps, which is good. And I may well actually go and fit those now. It'll give time for the whole assembly to dry overnight, and then I'll come back in the morning and paint these up. So yeah, let's put those shields on. I think we'll be okay to do that now. So I've just located the shield into the groove on this side bulkhead, and I'll just put some extra thin in there just to lock it in position. You might just be able to see the groove in this part that we need to locate this shield into. Again, we'll use the extra thin super glue. Dries in about 10 seconds, so it's virtually instant, and it's really good for assemblies like this where you don't want to be hanging about waiting for it to set up. Okay, that's good. So now the side shields, and again we've got another slot here just at the side where this shield goes on to. That should glue onto the side, I think. Get this last shield on, and then I'm going to leave it alone to fully dry, and then I'll come back in the morning and give it a clean up, get the paint where we want it, and hopefully we'll be able to move on from there. So you can see how there's no point trying to paint these up beforehand, because we're bound to get glue on them. It doesn't matter how careful you are, you're going to get glue on these brass pieces. But they're actually fairly solid. I'm quite happy with those. I think with a coat of filler just along the front, just to seal all these gaps up, that should be alright. We've got some more screens to fit around the sides and rear of this platform, and there's also some railings around the forebridge here. So I'm glad those are in. They've been a bit awkward, I think, and they've certainly taken an awful long time. They've certainly held the build back a little bit. Okay, the work I did yesterday's had a chance to dry. This is the milliput filler that I've used just to clean up the bottom of the shields where there was still a little gap, but that's cleaned up nicely. I just used a wet cotton bud when the milliput was still wet, just to tidy that up and get a nice clean join. Cleaned out the inside as well, because the milliput squeezes through the gap a little bit, so that'll just need a little bit of attention on the inside, but not too much. Okay, so the shields are fitted there, and they've actually not come out too badly. The extra strip along the side has just given the width to the bridge platform, and it just enables the shield to sit nicely on the side. But you can see this is 0.5 millimeter, this strip along the side, and it's very snug and flush with that strip. So these two shields together were about 0.5 millimeter too wide for the platform. So it does need something. I'd be interested to see what other people who have built this, whether or not they've had the same sort of difficulty with this bridge platform. But anyway, it's done, and I'm pleased that they're in. So the next step is to finish off the detailing on the fore part of the bridge here. We've got some equipment to fit on the front. We've got some voice pipes to fit, and the main binnacle at the top here, which goes on this platform. Or at least I think it's a binnacle, I'm not absolutely sure. Pontos provide the equipment that goes on the bulkhead in the form of these etched brass parts. So I've pre-painted these, and I'm just going to do a little bit of detail painting, and I'm actually going to find a decal for the gauge, which is here, and just give it a bit of extra detailing. So I think what I'm going to do is just pick out some of these pipes with some brass paint. I suppose the other alternative would be just to scrape away the paint that we've already got to reveal the brass underneath. But I think on balance I'd rather get them painted. So we'll get some of the Tamiya lacquer paint out to do those. And I'm also going to need to find 3 gauge decals from the spares box somewhere. So I'll go rummage around and see if I can find anything suitable. So I've got some Tamiya lacquer. This is the LP62, which is titanium gold. But actually it's a fair representation of polished brass. So I'll use this for just to pick out some of the details on this assembly. The other advantage to using paint rather than just scraping the white off is that it just gives a little bit of relief to the etching as well. So it gives a bit of three-dimensional effect. I'll also put a bit of black on this, I think, just to add a little bit of extra interest. So I'll paint the gauges in black. That'll do, just a little bit of interest. I don't want to go overboard with it. So I've found some decals from a spare sheet that I had for an Airfix Sea Fury. So this sheet has 1 or 2 little gauges on it. The fact that they're probably altimeters or something else belonging to the aircraft, I'm not sure we're going to notice that. I just want the impression of some sort of gauge on the bridge. So we'll cut 3 of those out and we'll get them applied. I think it might be easier actually if I fitted the etched brass, and once it's on I can apply the gauges. So I'm going to use some of the MIG acrylic glue for this. The main reason for using acrylic glue on this is that it will wipe off if I get this in slightly the wrong position. Okay, so while that's drying, I'll just cut out the Revell parts for the voice pipes and the binnacle here, which goes on this platform. So this is an example where Revell make it difficult for us, because I've found 124, which is here on the E sprue, and I want 124 and 125 for this bridge assembly, and 125 is over here. It's taken me about 3 minutes to find that part because they're just spread all over the sprue, and I just don't see the need for it. It just seems very unhelpful to have the parts scattered around a sprue like that. Other manufacturers managed to make life easy for us by just putting the parts sequentially on the sprue, so they follow some sort of order, but not Revell. So just clean these parts up. It's worth spending a little bit of time on them. We don't want to see any seam lines on it, so just scrape those off, and it just looks better on the finished model, I think, if they're prepared properly. Revell provide 3 voice pipes, but Pontos only ask for 2 to be fitted, so I'm going to trust that Pontos have got it right. I don't have a photograph of Snowberry's bridge, not from the inside anyway, so I'm not clear whether or not Pontos are right or Revell are right in this case. I'm going to go with Pontos and just fit the 2. So I'll get these parts painted up, and then we can get them fitted. I'll get the decals on, and then that'll be the front part of the bridge done. Okay, so they've just had a coat of white, and I'll just wait for those to dry before I handle them. In the meantime, I think I can put the decals on. That gauge is actually a turn and bank indicator, but I'm just hoping no one will notice. Don't tell anyone. Just a drop of microsol on, just get it to wrap around the brass dial. Okay, I think they'll do. They're pretty small, really. It's just giving the impression, having the decals on, just giving the impression that there's a gauge there. Okay, we'll let that microset and sol dry, and I think I'm going to be able to put these other pieces on now. So I'll start with these voice pipes, and again I'm going to use some of the MIG Ultra Glue, which is this one. The Pontos piece that we've fitted here has got a couple of brackets for the voice pipes, so I'm going to use those to position the parts. And I just want to drill a hole in the Pontos deck for this other Revell part. Just make sure everything's nice and straight with those. It's good, I'll leave those to dry. While I've got the black, I'll just paint a couple of black dots just on top of the voice pipes, just to give the impression that they're hollow. I suppose I could have drilled them out, but they're very, very small. I think black paint will do just as well. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And I can now, with all that equipment in, I can fit the inner rails and the steps onto the inside of this upper platform. So we have 3 screens here, one port and starboard and another one which fits along the back. The one along the back has a bend in it. There's not a lot to support these screens. They're just going to have to balance basically on top of the wooden deck. So they're a bit precarious, but we'll just have to make the best of it. I'll just use some thick super glue and hope that that's going to be enough to hold everything together. We have these relief etchings here, and actually what's going on here is that these are representations, I think, of open railings, and these are presumably canvas screens which went over the top of the railings. I'm assuming that that's what Pontos are representing here. It would be possible, I suppose, to solder these, but I don't want to get solder everywhere, so I'll just attach them with some extra thin super glue and that should do the job. We're obviously not going to be touching these again, so the super glue is going to be enough to hold it all together, I hope. Just check the fit of those. They should be alright. I'm just wondering why Pontos didn't just extend this side piece all the way along. It's seems strange just adding these extensions at the back here. So I think they're going to fit alright. I can get those painted now, I think. I've got a couple of little steps just to go up the side. There's one port and starboard. These are very delicate parts. There's not an awful lot to get hold of with them. With these tiny steps, the difficult thing is to avoid twisting them. I know that on the hood I spoiled a couple of the very narrow little steps like this because the actual connection points of the treads are actually very small, and these parts break very easily. They'll just fall apart on you, so you have to be very, very gentle with them. And they'll just sit at the side and on this angle here. So we'll get all these bits painted up and then we can get the back of this platform finished. Okay, I've painted all the screens up now that I'm going to need for this last stage and bent them to shape. They're easy enough to follow from the Pontos instructions. So we'll get those fitted. There'll still be a little bit of equipment to fit on here. There's obviously the twin Oerlikons, one on either side, and there are some signalling lights as well, but I'll do those in the next episode. So because these are so thin, I'm going to have to use some thick super glue, I think, just to get a decent bond with them. But I'll have to be fairly careful with how much I use because they're fairly visible, and I don't want to do a lot more touching up of these parts. The reason I'm using thick super glue is just that it hangs around a bit longer. It doesn't evaporate as quickly as the other glues, so it gives us time to get the parts bonded properly and positioned properly. but we still need to be very careful how much we apply. The one that runs along the aft side of the little platform here doesn't have anything to hold it up at the side, so this is probably the weaker of the three screens. It's just got a very shallow return on it. Next we have these tiny little steps that we made earlier on. This screen at the back is very fragile. It's got no strength at the bottom really, so I'm going to have to be really careful with that. Now these screens which go around the aft and side, their contacts are the bottom of the stanchions, so there's tiny little steps along the bottom, so again it's a very small attachment point for these. Next we've got these boxes which fit around the outside of these screens, and I can fit three of them. One of them fits on this angle here, and we've got the radar tower to fit here at the back, so it fits up against that bulkhead. So I can't do that just now, but I can do all the others. I'll just sort out that gap that I spotted, and I'll just use a spot of crystal clear for that. It's better than waiting for milliput to dry for such a small repair. Crystal clear is a really good alternative. Okay, I think that's done. If we're very careful with that, we shouldn't have any more trouble with it, but as I said, it's pretty fragile. I'm going to have to be very careful when I'm doing any additional work to it. It might actually be better fitted to the ship. It would be out of the way there, and it will be less likely to get damaged, I think. So I'll just give that a bit of thought, but that's maybe what I'm going to end up doing. Okay, so I'm going to call that it for this particular episode. Again, I've not got done as much as I wanted to do, but these shields are very, very difficult to fit and get a decent result with them. It's taken an awful long time to sort the assembly out. But I suppose it's worth spending the time on it because it's such a prominent part of the ship, the bridge. So overall I'm reasonably happy with it, given the fit issues that I've encountered with the Pontos set. So we'll get some close-up photographs of that, particularly of the detail work on the front of the bridge there, and we'll go over and see what it looks like back on the ship. Okay, so that's the bridge, a little bit more complete, not quite finished yet. There's one or two other bits of detail to go on there before we can call it finished. But the work on the shields has taken up an awful lot of time this week, and it's been a bit of a short week as well, so I'm just glad to get those shields and the screens around the side done and looking reasonably alright. Because as you've seen through the videos, the fit of the Pontos parts has been a bit of a challenge, I think is the modern phrase for it. But anyway, it's all done now and I can move on to hopefully some easier work next time. So having missed last week due to a short holiday for me, we're back now to the Friday night routine, so I'll be posting part 9 of the Flower Class build next Friday at the usual time, 8 o'clock. And I think I'll be getting 1 or maybe 2 Vulcan videos in before then, over the course of the next few days. So I hope you'll join me for one of those videos coming up over the next week. In the meantime, everybody, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.